Good morning, guys. Welcome back. Final episode of the week in terms of analysis over Bitcoin and order flow. So hopefully you guys have had a good week. It's been we were spoiled, as Max put it earlier in the week, coming into this zone, and we've just been range bound ever since. So if you're a range trader, this has been a pretty all right week for you, and I think a lot of guys in the group are doing that. But if you're looking for the move to the upside, we are coming into the weekend. Generally, would say caution on any kind of a breakout. However, we're going to talk about it and we'll go from there. So, Max, anything to add right off the rip before we go into the charts?
Just that we're coming into the Asia high, so potential SFP area to be aware of. But other than that, no.
All right, beauty. I'm going to share the screen here, and I do have trying out a different monitor because I think this is actually going to give you guys a little bit better clarity from the ultra wide that I have been using. So let me know if this is better or worse for you if you've watched our stream before. But yeah, Bitcoin super range bound here, guys. I'm going to get rid of the volume profile here on this section of price because it's just not necessary. I'm sure people are looking at this as some form of a head and shoulders. Typically, when you have higher lows like this, I'm not necessarily looking at these like they have to break down. A lot of times they end up trapping people. And the overall most important level has been 20,400. Anything below that, and you have the CME gap down here that I'm sure everyone and their grandmother is looking to fill. So it is one of those things where I'm not necessarily looking to put on any shorts that aren't just intraday trades. And what I mean by that is you have to lock in take profit one. Doesn't mean you can't leave it open and get stopped out if it does break to the upside. But you need to be aware that that is something that can happen because you are consolidating underneath the October and the November highs. And so this is something I want to point out. All you've done here is come up to these local monthly candles, these last few monthlies after the dump, right? And you're just tagging the highs of these. So should you start really claiming the October high here at like 21,088, I think was the level on like a weekly basis, things start to look good. You want to see action like that, this becoming support and then challenging into 21,468. And I think if you can get above 21,468 here on this next push, I wouldn't necessarily resound it all the way up to this $23,000 level. That is the next area of interest for us, 22.8 to like 23.3. That's also your range highs. The only thing you need to be aware of is you do have these local weekly highs right here that came in September. And obviously the high here is 22.8, but you do have like a collection of price right here. You can see that at like 21,887, or you could just use the opens at 21,827. So that 21.8 area just above the high here. And so I bring that up going into the weekend that if we get this further push and you get something like this and it comes back, guys, you're going to be looking to target all the way back down to 20,400, maybe even the CME gap fill. However, if you don't see this move, again, I put this on my Twitter last night, and it wasn't to be rude to, I can't remember his name, something Faust. He looks like a fairly like large following, but he had posted that he lost 90 grand shorting this blindly and didn't have a stop loss overnight, or he's down 90 grand. And then he was talking about how he was just compounding his short here, looking for the back test, which obviously never came. The back test never came, so he's still in that position. He's adding to it. And I think a lot of people that are underwater are kind of in the same boat where they're adding to these positions thinking, well, eventually there will be a pullback. And that's not always going to be the case. So what I'm trying to hint at is if we see that move to like 21.8 and we take these local highs at any point over the weekend, don't just blindly short them because I said the setup for a potential swing fail is still there because you've had swing failure pattern after swing failure pattern. It doesn't have to break to the downside. Trade the reaction. Don't preset trades like that. That's how you get wrecked. If you're going to preset and you don't have a stop loss, I mean, you're just setting yourself up for liquidation over time. Eventually, the market's going to catch you, right? So that's the only real trade setup I see, unless there's like a local trade here within the range. Again, we were looking at this as a local range. Max was talking about the Asia highs. So if you're trading this locally, there's been lots of trades to be had. The point of control is coming in right here at the Q4 pivot, 20,904. All these levels have been super well respected. So when we go down to like the low time frames, these are levels we've had on our charts for some time. You can see that the old yearly pivot, we have our 60-day pivot, you got our quarterly pivot. Now we're just using the October high and the November high as the above triggers for continuation, and they're fairly well respected too. So you've had plenty of scalp opportunities in this area. And if you were looking for a long, I think it's one of those things where that would be more of a pattern trader type thing where you're saying this is some form of a pennant or flag that you're looking to get involved in. Not my cup of tea. I don't do breakout trading. But you could certainly, if you're looking to flip a coin, because that's how I look at things like this, you could pick a side and say, I'm going to short with my stop loss above the high, even though to me we haven't hit that higher time frame 21.887 resistance, and we haven't rotated the range in full. There's been no real sign of weakness just yet. You could put your stop up here. Just understand that you need a stop loss in that instance. You cannot just roll without one. And the same goes for people that are looking for longs in this region. Stop loss here below the local lows, because if you lose this low at this point or come down and even take it, I think you're going to make that trip down to like this 19.6 to like 19, call it 19.8 area. I think that's the most likely scenarios at this point. So I do think this range is ready to try to make a move. The question is whether or not we get a fake out to the upside or downside when that move occurs. And yeah, basically the same analysis, just kind of trying to set you guys up for a game plan if it does occur, right? We try not to advocate for degenerate positions here in the sense that where you're guessing. It's never a good idea. So what you want to do is make a plan, read the reaction, and then take the best available trade for you in the moment. And if you're not there and you miss the move, just understand that you're going to be able to come back to the market, the next day or next week and have another high probability setup if you're patient. Again, discussing the range here. If we're looking at this in terms of why we want to see higher still, again, you're holding on to this region that was support and or resistance right here for so long. Also support. You're consolidating underneath it. You're above the overall range point of control. Getting used to this new screen a little bit. I'm so used to the ultra wide. It's actually messed up my scrolling in the object tree. That's been the hardest part, is adjusting to that, believe it or not. But you can see that you're above all major things that you want to see from a volume profile perspective. This is your point of control. If you look at ATAS and the time point of control, TPO data is down here. So it would make sense that on a deviation, you'd do what if you're living above this area? You're still looking to rotate that range higher, which comes in at that 22.8 to like 23.3 region. And then you can reevaluate. And over time, if you crack that, obviously you've got the $25,000 highs and your yearly pivot above at like 26,724. So, then it starts to become a game of, will we go tag this? We know that we tag them often. Bitcoin usually reverts back to them at some point and tags the average of the prior year. So that's really all I've got. I don't think the rally's in any jeopardy unless we break down from 19.6. I've been saying that for, it feels like over a week now, which is pretty close to it. Looks like, yeah, last Saturday is when we got up here. So about that time frame, about a week now, we've been watching this area. Maybe we get it, maybe we don't. But, nobody has a crystal ball. All you can do is prepare for it if we get there and plan what reaction you want to see. So I don't have anything else, man. Pretty short and sweet on my end. A lot of it's just reviewing plans that we've made and going over the same kind of analysis. And let's check the chat. Good morning, Lewis. Good morning, OC. He wants to do a comparison of Matic versus Algo. When you say comparison, like, do you just want to see those two charts, or are you looking for something specific? Like, I don't know if like you're looking for like fundamentals or something. Grant says it's way better. I imagine that's on the screen. Good morning, Lola. Good morning, Nick. Glad you guys are enjoying the new view. So I'm gonna have to change this one because that screen's over here. So I'm gonna put it over here and then move the ultra wide over to this area probably. So a little rearranging this weekend for me, but it's all for the best. No questions, though. I'll turn it over to Matt and let him get going.
Yeah, your screen's way better. Easy to see now. I also don't stream on the big screen unless we're doing the live trading ones. I prefer to stream on my smaller one.
I didn't know that was a thing. I heard a YouTuber say it. They were like, yeah, you have to change the settings on your ultra wide if you use it. Otherwise, it's hard for people to see. And I was like, I've been streaming on this ultra wide for weeks. Yeah. And I went and looked at it on debate, and I was like, man, this actually looks way better, I think. So
yeah, it is. Yeah. So I'm going to go over some of the trades that I pointed out in the members update yesterday or Wednesday night for the American people. But for me, it is the it's Thursday morning for me, the stream, and I pointed out too short. The longs didn't come over from lower. Is what it is. The two shorts. This session when the pre-market opened and you're scalping it, it was literally just a scalp. We didn't really get that big of a move off it. But it did come back down to the VWAP. So, this short here was okay, but, just a scalp is what it is. However, the other one that we gave was the golden pocket and the value area high of the range. Now, this one offered 2 trades. It was great. And I took the first one, and I am so annoyed that I overslept and missed this one. I was up last night watching, who was I watching? I was watching Debate Crypto and Sin City Crypto. Stayed up late, and I was like, oh, do you know what? I'll have a line. And I missed this absolute belter. So the short was you had to be there, you had to be fast on it because it quickly came up and tapped the golden pocket and then rejected. But the even better trade, in my opinion, was when you came back up and SFP'd it. So, this area gave you 2 trades to be aware of. I believe now we can delete them from the charts and go into the peak price action for today. So in today, you came down and you had multiple things at this. Let me hide them. You had multiple things to take along from down here. I did mention it in the Discord, the area that I'd be looking to take along from. Reason being, you had the New York point of control there from yesterday. You've got the weekly open there, and you also had the weekly open gold pocket and New York NPOC there. So, and that was naked at the time. So you got multiple things there. That's 3 things you need. I did put up 3 fingers there, just so everyone is aware. Didn't put up 2 and look like an idiot. Yeah, you had 3 things there, 3 pieces of confluence to take a trade there. It played out very nicely. And this is on an hourly time frame. If you go on the lower time frame, thank you for that. On the lower time frame, you can see you also had beautiful red PVA into the level, and you got the very large wick away with a fast move pushing you away. So you had multiple entry triggers to get in there from just simply from trading view standpoint. If we can going into the order flow, you can see in the move up initially, you had tons of liquids. And what do we always say? When you're getting these liquidations, it's not a time to be buying. You should be looking to short when you're getting liquidations. And going into the initial bounce, you can see in the move off it, you are having got that very large wick. Delta going into the move was negative, which is not what you want to see if you want to push to the upside. Most of the time, sometimes if you're pushing to the upside and the shorts entering, yes, they're going to get squeezed, which is great. But this isn't like too many shorts entering for us to be like, they're going to keep squeezing. It's not significant enough. It's not heavily negative delta. But then when you get the move away, it is coming in very heavy negative delta, increasing open interest, very large selling imbalances. You've got multiple reasons to enter short here, considering you've marked this level out. And we have just taken the Asia high. Okay, look, love.
SPX is also pushing.
Okay. And then you come up here, you didn't take profits. You're getting green this time, which is a good thing until you start to flip them around, getting selling imbalances here, and still getting green in the push away, which is interesting because as you're moving away and down, when you've had this rejection, this setup has just taken place, that setup being the swing failure pattern, and people are still buying it, price is dropping. That's when you can think, okay, now we're getting fuel to go against these people. Trap traders are one of the best things to trade against, the majority of the time. So when you're getting, these buyers coming in and doing an awful job holding the price up, that can be your signal to, again, okay, this is going to run quite fast. So maybe you don't want to take profits of the view up this time because you've got trap traders. And if it's not going to let the traders get out from their positions, that's when I do live next to a racetrack, to be fair. Everyone uses that road as a racetrack. It's just straight and very many lanes. It's not allowing those traders that have been entering here as the price has been going down to get out of their positions and thus pushing them down further. And come down to the other take profits which one would have had, them being the weekly open and the golden pocket. The move today has been rather slow trading throughout the day, but you've had one thing stand out in my opinion, and that has been the short been entering here. Granted, you've not really got a bullish divergence that one can really point at and look at. But if you move into the charts, you can see that whenever you're getting I'm ignoring this one green positive delta candle here, but I'd argue that it was stopped out here. You can see here you're getting large increases in open interest, large shorts entering, scrolling to the right, another large open interest increase, relatively large, another very large delta. And the fact you had that wick to the downside shows that, probably a lot of longs were closing out there and their positions were bought back up. So when you're getting these open interest increases on this negative delta, and they're not pushing the price down, you can expect them to be squeezed out, especially when you've done something like this, when you've had a swing failure pattern and you've taken out the longs. If the short's building up now and they've already taken out the longs, the next target is the shorts. And that's why you get a move up like this. Is the move up done? I don't believe it to be just yet. However, looking at it, we are getting a nice drop off in open interest here. So this is a very viable setup. Now we've swung failed the high from yesterday and the Asia high from the morning. So it's a viable setup if one wants to take it. Would I take it? I've not got trap traders. There is certainly some position changing hands there. Let's have a look at it on TradingView. We haven't closed below it yet. If you're going off closes, but the fact you've had a wick there, I would say this is a valid setup right now. Where would I target? There's the VWAP. VWAP's quite far down actually. I've turned my I was trying to let it magnetize them, turned it off. I'd probably target the local gold pocket had I taken this trade. Now I believe I would. I'm not going to take it now because I feel like I've missed it. But yeah, I'd say this is a valid setup. Not right now, but initially it probably was. Let's have a look at it on the. Now you're now getting selling balances. So yeah, I'd say this is a valid setup. Stop loss goes above the high, and you can target the golden pocket. It's not too far away though, so I would be cautious with that one. But yeah, that's the issue when you miss these things and the initial target is so close. What you can do is when you have a situation like that is maybe not target the golden pocket, but be aware of it if you do start to bounce from there. But then you would target the daily open and put your first take profit somewhere in between there. But yeah, that's kind of how I'd look at this. But that being said, we have had shorts building up all day. And we're just presuming there's a huge amount of liquidations there. Yeah, I'd say they're probably stopped out for now. So I'd say it's probably a good bet to take a short from this area and look to the day open initially. Then you're targeting the VWAP and then the day point of control. That would be my few take profits in this trade had I taken it. But yeah, not really too much to say. The week's been really good. The start of the week was amazing for trading. Then it's kind of just slowly died off. Is the way it is. But yeah, going into the weekend, I think we just stay range bound, maybe tap the highs, potentially make a move to the lows. I don't think we're going to get anything too drastic. Seeing the way this week has gone, seeing it's been on a decline, I can't see it suddenly getting a load of activity going into the weekend, personally. But you never know. It is Bitcoin. But yeah, relatively easy stuff from today and yesterday. Trading wise, it's been simple but slow, so you kind of just have to wait for it. But yeah, I've not really got too much else to say. TPO, just have a quick browse at that. Yeah, nothing really to say. They've had a, I guess you'd argue, B-shaped day here. But it doesn't really tell you too much considering where we are. Buying tail, selling tail on both sides. All checks out. Yeah, really, honestly, not got too much else to mention here from any of your standpoint in what we've got. Now, where this trade would really start to run is, if you were to lose the VWAP, because then you can target the lows again, target down here. But yeah, I've really not got much else to say. I'm just repeating myself at this point, Magic.
I know exactly what that's like. Yeah, I don't really have anything either. It's been range bound. The levels are pretty well defined at this point. Take good trades, make sure that you're taking care of yourself because this thing's just chopping around. Or if you want to wait and sit it out till you get something that's a little bit bigger at a better area, feel free to do that as well. There's no real reason to feel the need to have to trade this. But there are trades available if you want them, right? It just depends on your level. So, otherwise, everybody have a great weekend. It's going to snow here. I walked my dog this morning. It's already really cold. So you can see I'm already bundled up. Not looking forward to that, but it is what it is. And then, Yeah, we'll get back to it on Monday. So if you guys don't have any questions, we're probably going to hop off here. Information for the group is down below, leadingcrypto.io. There's a half off special going through the end of the month, the next 11 days. The code is down in the description. And if you have any questions, just reach out, leave a comment, or reach out to us in Discord. There is a public section as well. But everybody have a great weekend, and we'll catch you on Monday.